Hello and welcome to another episode of McCall Media TV Live with myself, Angela McCall, whereby today we're going to be talking about some of the tools of my trade. Now, I'm going to have a quick look and dive into some of the things and the service providers that basically allow me to do what it is that I do, with basically a flair for helping you guys if you're struggling to find some services and you're sort of maybe struggling a little bit with overwhelm. So without further ado, I'm going to just play my little intro and get myself ready. Okay, so welcome back to basically McCall Media TV. In today's episode, like I just said to you, we are talking all about tools of the trade. So I'm just going to share my screen with you right now. Let's see if the technology works. There we go. Excellent. So as you can see, we are on my website. So all I've done is navigated up here to tools of the trade. And I'll be totally honest with you, I've got some housekeeping to do because there, I think, are 10 companies listed on here, but I've got about another 5 or 6 to add. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about 5 of these companies. Some of them I've already mentioned quite frequently in other videos that I've done, but in the future I'm going to dive in and do another 5 and then another 5 and so on. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to start collecting and rearranging this page so that I can start grouping services into categories of how they work together as companies, because a lot of the tools and services that we've got going on here I've actually connected using different like API technologies and things like that. But I'm going to explain everything. I don't want to confuse you or bewilder you right now. So let's just have a look. The first one on my agenda naturally has to be Streamyard. Now, obviously, I am live right now using Streamyard's software and technology. I have to say, in all honesty, I have pretty much fallen in love with this software. Now, when I decided to go live, I did my homework and I typed into Google live streaming software. I already use OBS, which if you've not come across OBS is open broadcaster software. But there were some pros and cons for using that to stream out to different destinations on the internet. And then I had a look around and then I saw one of the guys that I follow in a Facebook group. He used StreamYard and I kind of asked him afterwards, I'm like, is it easy to use? How hard is it to get going with? And he's like, it's hit and run. It's really, well, that sounds horrible actually. It's really, really easy. So I kind of had to dive in, played with their free version and went live with an interview with Steve Church. It was the very first one I've done. So go dive back through my YouTube channel because that's a fabulous interview, especially if you're in need for a copywriter. And Steve and I had such a ball and the software was so easy to use. I thought, you know what? This is the software for me, and I have been a fan ever since. So if you come to my Facebook page, McCall.media, and then obviously, like I said, navigate up here to where it says tools of the trade, you will find some of the suggested services providers that I like to work with. And then you can click on StreamYard and it will take you to their page to get signed up. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you here. I provide all of my YouTube tutorials and knowledge and expertise completely and utterly for free. I do it because I'm extremely passionate about what it is that I do. I absolutely love this stuff and I love the sort of invigorousness of helping other people conquer their digital marketing. So I am using affiliate links because, you know, girls got bills to pay, food to put on the table, kids to look after. So if you do click on any of my links and then you do decide that after some time you're going to go and make a purchase, I will get a little kickback. But I do want to point out that I am not being sponsored in any way, shape or form with any of the products or services I am talking to you about today. These are just products and services I am using in my business, I've become a fan of. I want to share the love, give you some insight and help you avoid that overwhelming feeling at sometimes like, where do I go? What do I do? How do I use this? Am I going to get my fingers burnt, waste my money, that kind of thing. So I'm just here to basically help you solve that problem. So that's basically how you will get started with StreamYard. So this isn't a StreamYard tutorial. I'm going to stop there and move on to the next one. So my next one I've got listed here is Active Campaign. So let me go find it. There we go. Now, Active Campaign is the software provider I use for all my email marketing. I love these guys. Their platform is extremely simple and easy to use. Now, bearing in mind that I have been helping businesses in one shape or form or another online for like 20, 25 years, I have pretty much used every kind of email marketing, newsletter type service provider out there, stroke content relationship management software. I've been there, I've done round the houses, and as a small business, and I'm talking right now as people like myself, maybe 1 or 2 person businesses wanting something very easy, very cost effective to get going, Active Campaign kind of ticks all those boxes. The other ones that you would probably look at as well would be Constant Contact and Get Response. And I've used both of those, and I've swapped away to come to Active Campaign purely because I think the way that they've laid out their platform and you navigate through their controls the easiest way of all of the platforms I've used. Now, I've also in the past used Aweber. I'm also I'm a bit rusty actually, but I was going to say I'm quite proficient with Infusionsoft, which I know is now called Keep. But so pretty much as one way or another, I don't particularly like to endorse MailChimp. I have an account. I don't think I've even used it. It's more to play with when I help clients. But one way or another, if you're going to use some email marketing software, I suggest you work with Active Campaign, or at least consider it. Now, again, if you click on this, it will take you through to the Active Campaign where you can get yourself signed up. I am using an affiliate link, which means if you go on to purchase, I will get a little kickback. Thank you. That's how I basically am at the moment funding this work and tutorials that I'm putting together. Okay, so that's enough for me on that one right now. I'm just going to close that screen and we are going to go on to trade or tools number 3, which is Ionos right next to it. So Ionos is the company that I use for all of my website hosting. And again, I have been around the houses a bit because I've been around for a while with all of my software providers. And I've actually settled with Ionos because now that WordPress has evolved to such a standard where it is really easy point and click, I find that their software solution for providing all their hosting, their platform for navigating around, sorting out all the admin behind, like creating the SSL certificates, connecting your hosting and your domain names together. I find their platform very point and click, very quick and easy. And for someone who just wants to get a job done and move on, then I find their pricing structure really quick and simple. And they're actually quite easy to get hold of on the phone as well for the majority of the time. And if you do ask them to give you a call back, you can kind of ask a time in the week that they will call you back. And they're generally quite good at doing so. So for all of my hosting needs, including my clients, I use Ionos. I say including my clients at the moment, I've got an agency membership, or an agency account, I should say, whereby I can create like an unlimited number of hosting accounts, connect your domain names in, your email services, and this, that, and the other. Now, I would say that I don't actually use their like enterprise service or like get their Microsoft Exchange services through them. I do all of that directly with Microsoft, which is one of the companies I need to still add to this little screen. But there we go. Most of everything to do with websites, hosting and emails pretty much goes through them, unless you actually want to upgrade and use Microsoft Exchange, at which point my emails go directly into them. So that's getting a little bit confusing, but I'll talk to you about that if the time need, or you need me to. So that covers that. The next one, what to pick out next? The next one was Signable. Now this is a fabulous piece of software, service provider online. I'm going to click on them now, and again, yes, so there is an affiliate link. Basically, if you've got any terms, conditions, contracts, or anything like that, you do not need to sign up for an expensive service. They actually have a pay-as-you-go for just £1 to send a document and have it tracked as an e-signature. Now, you don't necessarily need to do this. I've got a solicitor at the moment drawing up my terms and conditions for when I do want to start working with clients. And I've already had to tinker with this. They give you like 40 free credits, which basically these credits are called envelopes. So every time you want to send a document, you use an envelope, use a credit. It's basically the equivalent of £1. And this document is then sent out to the recipient, who you've then marked up the document with some specific fields, and they get to sign it, and it's all tracked, and they literally timestamp the IP address of that computer, so nobody can go, oh, it wasn't me, or all of that stuff. You literally got the whole thing tracked. Now, you can just work with an email. I think I don't want you to quote me on this just in case I haven't quite got my ducks in a row, but I know years ago the only way to actually receive a legal signature was to receive it by fax for it to stand up in a court of UK law. I believe nowadays things have changed because obviously technology has evolved so much that actually an email just replied to your document, say with an attachment for your terms and conditions, will be sufficient enough. But if you want to be, for the sake of £1, nice, neat and tidy and whatnot, this is the tool to use. And I've literally fallen in love with this service provider as well. So that's that one for you there. And don't forget, if you do go on to sign up and purchase any of their actual pricing plans as opposed to do the pay-as-you-go service, then I will get a little kickback for that as well. And finally, we've got Epidemic sounds, which are right next to the bottom row there, all three. Now this company here is runs on kind of like a license basis, and again, let me go over and show you about them. Basically, most of my background music comes from these guys. Now, when I was doing my pre-recorded videos, I was diving in and out of these guys on a daily basis, finding different tracks. Now that I'm doing my lives, the only little criticism I actually have of Streamyard is that they don't give us the ability at the moment to play background music. And whilst it's still quite early days, I don't really want to get into the situation of putting something else on like a speaker in the environment or in my little office. So at the moment, I'm using these guys a little bit less. But if you guys are in the process of doing pre-recorded videos, then these Epidemic Sounds is the place that you want to go. They will basically give you a it's kind of like a royalty license that you know, you subscribe on a monthly basis, but whilst you subscribe you can use any of their content, and the subscription isn't expensive. So it does mean that you've got sound effects on their background music and all sorts, and I find them a very fabulous little resource. And so some of the things that I've been using them for recently is I've actually worked out a way to use the Streamyard software and platform to pre-record videos that I want to do as part of a course, online course delivery. And with that, once I've actually done that, because it's a pre-recorded environment, I'm downloading them, tweaking them a little bit in Premiere Pro, and I'm adding some background music. So these guys are still hot on my list of services that I can't live without right now in 2020. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to come out of that and bring myself back up on the screen. There you go, there's my page. Right, so as you can see, there are a lot of service providers. I think that's 10 different companies. Now, we've talked about these guys before on some of my other videos, which is why I've skipped them just for today. MindMaster is an absolute fabulous tool, but again, I'll cover that next week on an episode, and I haven't even begun to explore this one properly with you guys yet as well. So again, that's one for next week. And when I've got all my ducks in a row, I will be listing on here about another 5 service providers that I haven't even got round to setting up yet, and I'm going to be changing my page to help make it easier for you guys. Now, one of the only other things that I would say that you might want to go and explore if you're having trouble connecting various service providers together, so for example, if you wanted to connect your Microsoft Outlook with your email software like ActiveCampaign, then there is a tool called Zapier that basically builds like a little technological bridge, shall we say, between these two different companies, and it adds like the go-between, and it will basically allow Outlook to talk to ActiveCampaign, and you can swap your data over that way. And that's just one example, but Zapier is one that I haven't listed on here yet today, but it's a godsend for connecting lots of different systems together. So I think that kind of concludes where I'm up to today. I hope some of that gives you food for thought. And as you can see, you can have a nose on my page and go and click on any of these others as well. I will cover this one next week as well, because this is powering the membership site that I'm actually currently building. And I think that's about it. So if you have any questions, you've got the hashtag AskMcCallMedia, which you can get in touch with me via. I have a Google alert sitting, listening to the entire internet, so that at some point, if you was to use that hashtag on your favorite social media platform, I'm going to get a little email telling me that you have just used it, and I can go and investigate and use your question and answer your question live. That's how I get the content for my live broadcasts. If you haven't been on my videos before, please do subscribe and stay notified. And I have been live today across Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. But one day I hope to be on LinkedIn as well if they ever approve my application, but that's another story. And that's it from me. So thank you very much for watching. I've had a blast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe and follow me on my YouTube channel.
finished.
Yeah, it's finishing, but it's still technically live. So right now you are live.